Okay, here's our first take a break session. So find yourself a little space, have your feet standing nice and comfortably, hip width apart. Think about where the weight's going through your feet so you're not leaning more on one side than the other. Just take a nice breath in to feel that connection between your feet and the floor or the mat. Good, and here we go. I'm going to take it into a little knee bend first of all, knees tracking over the tops of your toes. Taking your knees down, stick your bottoms back. As your knees go down, float the arms up. So from the side, we're dropping down, coming back up. Bend and straighten. As you're doing this, draw your tummy button in towards your spine. So you're creating that nice deep connection through those abdominals. Good. Now from here, we're going to add it into a little bit of a calf movement. So we're going to come into our knee bend, up onto the toes. Bend the knees down, up onto the toes. As your arms are squeezing back onto your tiptoes, really engage those shoulder muscles between your spine. Knee bend onto your toes. Couple more. Float those arms up to your toes. That's it. Just watching the ankles are not rolling out. Last one there. Good. Hold it in your down position for here. We're just going to holding this position, drawing in nice and tight through the abdominals. Feel those glutes working as you hold that position. Your quads might start firing a little bit as well, but just keep squeezing through your bottom. Squeeze those glutes as you push yourself back up. Here we go, up into the top. And just hold that position there. From your toes, watch your ankles don't roll out. Turn your palms to face behind you and press your hands backwards. Just hold that position there. See if you can keep your balance. Good. Draw in with your tummy button, holding that nice and still. Perfect. Lower the heels down into your little knee bend, up to your toes. Just work it through. Onto your toes, little knee bend. There we go. 2 more. Sit your bottom back into your heels. Perfect. So from here, we're going to make it our way down onto the mat. So standing up nice and tall, chin toward your chest, roll through the spine so you'll feel each one of those bones in your back moving one by one as you roll yourself down towards the floor. Hands make contact and we'll just take you down onto your knees. There we go. So hands in front, shoulders over the top of your wrists, hips over the top of your knees, and from here we're going to take a nice deep breath in as you round through your spine. Push your spine up towards the ceiling, feel the stretch between your shoulder blades and breathe out. Let the hips roll up, let your chest look up and forwards. Good, nice deep breath in, roll the hips up, push your spine up towards the ceiling and breathe out as you sink down, lift the hips, look forward. There we go, breathe in, push your spine up and breathe out, roll through. Last one. Nice deep breath in, roll through the hips, push up through your spine and breathe out. Sit your bottom down onto your heels and reach your hands forwards as far as you comfortably can. Really stretch through to your fingertips. Again, nice deep breaths. Feel the movement through your ribs, through your diaphragm. Good, just hold that. There we go. Let those shoulders ease and relax down into the mat. Slide your hands back into the centre again. Same again this time, but I want you to tuck your toes under. So as you push your bottom down towards your heels again, you're going to get that stretch, hopefully through the soles of your feet as you stretch down into that shell stretch again. Push your hips back, push your fingers away from you, and just feel that stretch. Fantastic. Good. And slowly come back up onto that all four position again. This time we're going to take one leg backwards. So draw in nice and tight through your abdominals, pull your tummy button up towards your spine, lengthen one of your legs away. Now watch, as you take that leg back, watch you haven't drifted over till you take your hips across the top of the knee you're still kneeling on. Keep that weight evenly distributed between both sides of your pelvis. With your leg you've lengthened out now, let's rotate it from the hip so your toes are now pointing away from you, so pointing away from the midline. Good. From here, squeeze your bottom, lift, and we're going to pulse. The pulse comes from your glutes, so squeeze and release through your bottom. What we're not doing is swinging the leg and arching through the back. We're just squeeze and release, making sure your tummy button is still over the top of the midline of your mat. Okay, if your leg starts to get weak or you're not correctly set up, you're going to be leaning off to one side. So make sure you're still in the center. Keep pulsing with that same leg if you can. Squeeze and release, squeeze and release. Lovely. Lower that leg down, slide it back in. Let's go with the other leg. Lengthen it away. Watch you haven't shifted your hips. Rotate your ankles so your toes are pointing out. Squeeze through your glutes. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Perfect. There we go. Squeeze, release. Floppy ankle if you can. Check your hips are square to the mat. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Not swinging the leg. Just squeeze and release through your glutes. Pulsing through that muscle. There we go. And slowly release. Sit yourself back down into that shell stretch. Fantastic. Nice deep breath in. And let's lie down onto the mat. Good. So from here, our feet are hip width apart. Shoulders are nice and relaxed down onto the mat. We're going to come up into our shoulder bridge. So from here, you roll through the hips and flatten your back against the mat. Squeeze your bottom muscles as you peel your spine up and away from the mat as high as you can. And on the way back down, roll through the spine one by one. So you're placing each of those bones back one at a time, keeping your hips tucked up as you place your bottom back down onto the mat and roll it back to neutral. Here we go again. Tilt the hips back, squeeze through your glutes, peel yourself up, feel that movement coming all the way through the spine. Especially if you've just been sitting for the last few hours, this is really good mobility exercise to get some movement going through your back. There we go. Roll the hips back, squeeze through your glutes, peel yourself up one by one, lifting your hips high towards the ceiling. Squeezing your glutes as you get to the top there, keeping your glutes squeezed so you keep your hips high as you lower down through the upper back, middle back, lower back, and rest your pelvis back to neutral. Let's do one more. Tilt the hips back, squeeze through your glutes, lifting you up high. Good, and then lower down through the spine, one by one, as we place the back down onto the mat again. Let's bring the legs in towards your chest. So grab your knees, draw your knees in towards you. Just roll through the low back, so you're just creating that little gentle rocking movement. Or if you prefer, you can draw some circles with your knees. Just get that rotation going there. Lovely. And then the other side. Lovely. And then place the legs back down one at a time. Good. Let's think about that neutral position of your spine. So for now, the back doesn't want to be pressed into the mat. You need a little bit of a lift through this low part of your back here. Drawing in with your abdominals, so draw your tummy button in towards your spine and just feel that connection through your low back, through the pelvis. Let your shoulders relax nice and gently. And we'll start with a single leg fold. So you're going to breathe out, lift one leg up as if you're resting your heel on a coffee table, and then place it back down. Opposite side, breathe out, lift the leg up, and breathe in, pop it back down again. Let's just keep checking side to side. What your focus needs to be on is what's happening at the pelvis. What we don't want to see happen is the pelvis starts to drop and rock as we do this. It should be staying nice and still, as if you're resting a tray of drinks across the front of your pelvis there. We don't want to lose any as you're lifting that leg up and placing it gently back down again. Super. So now we're going to just try and create a little bit more of a challenge. This time, as you place one leg down, start to lift the other one. There we go. Swap from one leg to the other. There we go. That's it. Keep breathing as you do this. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Now, if you're not holding a good connection through your back here, what you'll find is your low back will start to arch and your tummy muscles will start to dome. That's what we want to try and stop happening. We need to keep these abdominals nice and flat as we do this. If you feel you're starting to arch or dome, obviously stop and go back to that single leg. There we go. Otherwise, just keep going. Couple more, working through that stability and strength through that low back there. Perfect. Draw the knees in again. Hug them in towards your chest and just rotate them round again. Perfect. Place your legs back down in our nice neutral position, so feet and knees hip width apart. Take your hands behind your head and open the elbows nice and wide. Let the weight of your head rest into your hands. Okay, draw your abdominals in nice and tight, and as you breathe out, slide your shoulder blades down towards your bottom and use your shoulder blades as kind of a fulcrum or a pivot point to sort of breathe. As you breathe out, you're lifting through your abdominals and then lowering back down again. What we're not doing is hunching our shoulders right up towards your ears. You're creating a nice long space between the ears and the shoulder blades because you're drawing those shoulder blades down. As you lift, your ribs are sliding down towards your pelvis and then coming back. So the movement is coming through your abdominals and working strong through the shoulders. What we're not doing is leading with the neck. Here we go, a few more. Breathe out as you come up and breathe in as you lower back down again. Here we go. We're going to add a little bit more of a challenge in if you want to. This time, as you come up, lift one knee as well. Place it back down, opposite side. Bring the knee up, lower it back down. Good. Keep sliding those shoulder blades down towards your back pockets, down towards your pelvis. Watch those shoulders, don't start to sneak up. Fantastic. Here we go, one more on each side. There we go, let the feet relax, let the legs lengthen out and take your arms away from you as well. Just take a nice big stretch. Deep breath in and breathe out. Keep pushing all the way to your fingertips, all the way to your toes. And then slide everything back in, hug your knees in towards your chest and just roll up through the low back. There we go. Perfect. We'll just loosen out through the low back and finish off with a shoulder bridge. So drawing your tummy in towards your spine, creating that nice connection through the pelvis. Relax through your shoulders, think about a nice long neck. Roll the hips towards you, squeeze your bottom muscles, peel yourself up. And then lower the spine back down one by one. And rotate the hips back to start position. There we go, tilt the hips up. Squeeze through your bottom, roll up through the spine. And nice and gently, really feel the connection of your back, or each one of those spinal bones, into the mat as you come down. What we're trying to avoid is coming back down like a plank of wood. Okay, we want to be a nice smooth rolling action rather than a stiff as a board action. And you'll probably find it's a little bit easier now. We've practiced a few than it was the first one that you did. There we go. Finish up your last one, just roll the hips towards you, squeeze through your bottom and lift. And gently back down one by one. There we go. And just let your back relax. Let your arms relax into the mat, let your shoulders relax into the mat. Let your head and your neck relax. There we go, just take a moment, just take a nice deep breath in. And breathe out. Perfect. All ready to reset and start again. So take your time to sit and repeat that again if you feel you need to, and hopefully see you again on the next one.